Welcome, everyone. You're listening to the Dateable AF podcast because women dating women is wild, wonderful, and occasionally a disaster. I am your host, Dr. Sarah Kyle, a therapist in private practice.
And I'm a co-host, Rachel Howell, a researcher extraordinaire and a single lesbian dater.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the after-party episode of episode 12, which the topic was, okay, but why are you still texting her? Where we talked about getting sucked into someone who's ghosting you or breadcrumbing you, and we got some interesting questions and comments from you guys, so we want to talk about that today.
So, do you think that, can I use the word leaver, leavey?
You can use the word leaver and leavey.
And I mean, that sounds a little bit like more of a long-term thing.
Yes. But in this case, we're just referring to someone who decides to leave an early dating relationship versus someone who gets left in an early dating relationship.
Yes. What did the questioner want to know about that?
Well, one of our listeners was asking if we thought there was a difference between the feelings of the person leaving the relationship, even though it's early, versus the feelings of a person who's getting left. And I said, most definitely, I think so. What do you think?
I've been on both sides of it, and I think that there are assumptions made on both sides. I think that it can feel, naturally, we all assume that the leavee feels worse because they're not ready versus the leaver who's walking away or redesigning it, potentially wanting to redesign what it is.
I think that's true.
But I don't always think that it's easy on, I think it can be okay on either side or it can be bad on either side.
I think that's true. And I think what makes the difference is that the person who decides to end the dating relationship processes it sooner because they're not taking action as soon as they have the thought. They're having the thought of like, hey, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And then they're thinking about it for days or weeks or maybe months. I guess that wouldn't be early dating if they were thinking about it for months, but they're already thinking about it and processing it, whereas the other person doesn't have any idea yet. And so it's just two different timelines.
Yeah, that makes really good sense. And let's think about this from the standpoint of dating, like early dating.
Mm-hmm.
I do see this as sort of a sticky wicket because let's just say that you're dating somebody and you really realize that you'd like to be friends with that person, but you don't want to move it to the next level.
As far as dating goes.
Okay. But you want to stay friends with them and you really, really like the potential of that. I do think that at the moment that you lay that out, just what you said is that you may be ready to do that and the other person may not be because they haven't processed that yet.
Yep, they're trained still on the dating track.
Right. And so I do think, you might have some good suggestions for what the person is that is putting it in the friend slot, so to speak. What sort of time or what should they give? What room should they give the other person to grace that they need to give or whatever? Or how do they open themselves up and say, hey, I still want to do these other things with you. Even if you're not ready, will you let me know when you are?
Yeah, absolutely. And this, we can't say it enough, you guys. You have to communicate. If you are the person who's ready to friend zone things, you just say it out loud very directly to the person. And if you're the one getting friend zoned, you can decide if you want to be friends with this person or if it's too soon or your heart's getting broken because you thought you were getting married. Tune into our next episode to hear more about that.
Yes.
So you just have to communicate with one another. But I will say that if you're going to end the dating relationship and you truly do want to be friends, then you have to make the effort to reach out to that person to do some friend kind of things. And if that person's not ready for it, then it's incumbent on them to communicate that to you that they don't want to do that. But don't say that you want to be friends if you don't actually want to be friends.
That's a good point. And if you do want to be friends, you need to know that there's something there that you really are interested in. And I do think that you say it and say, look, I want this, and ask them, hey, if you're not ready for this right now, if you don't want to be in this space with me right now, if you decide you want to be, please let me know, because I want to. And I'd like to go hear music with you, or I would like to go to try a new restaurant with you, or whatever, but that you make it clear that you're interested. But I also don't think you can push too hard on that.
No. And if you're the person who's getting left, if you're the leavee in this case, don't agree to a friendship hoping that it's going to turn back into a romance.
Oh, that's a very good point.
Yeah. So the other comment that I thought would be interesting for us to talk about today is that I heard a comment from one of our listeners who said she disagreed with us about lopping someone off if they haven't texted you back. And Rachel and I are probably not the best examples of this because we are both loppers. We are not lingerers. So this listener said, I might really like someone and I don't text them back for a couple of days because I'm just really busy or I'm really engaged in something else. And I think that is an important thing to consider, that we may have jumped the gun on that, on telling you to lop someone off too quickly. But what we're talking about isn't necessarily about a specific time frame. It's about people staying engaged with you and not letting weeks pass between. And also words and actions lining up. If they say, I'm going to text you next Friday, and they don't text you next Friday, that's a red flag.
That person that you're speaking of, I actually know. And I will say that she is very good at sending a quick text going, hey, I am super busy right now. Sorry, I will circle back around with you. She is not a ghoster type. Now, if she, were to first meet somebody, maybe that would be a little different. But I have my doubts about that. I don't think she would just ghost somebody.
No, I don't think so either. And her point was, someone might feel like I'm ghosting them because I haven't gotten back with them very quickly. But in reality, I'm not ghosting them. I'm still interested. I just have other things going on. So I would say take our advice with a grain of salt.
I'd say you better send up a flare or they're going to move on. They're going to lop you off.
That's right. And but you just brought up a good point that even someone sending you a quick text and saying, hey, super busy, but I'm thinking about you, or hey, super busy, I'll get back with you next week. That does a world of good. That lets the person know, hey, I'm not ghosting you. You are on my mind. I do want to plan a date. So just keeping that in mind, that they don't have to text you back right away. But if you're hearing nothing from them for days on end, that's probably not a great sign.
It's not good. It's not that hard. No,
it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Like I said, I know you're going to the restroom and you're going to be sitting down for at least 30 seconds, and you could send a text during that time if you really wanted to.
Yes, you can, Dr. Kyle. You sure can.
All right. Well, that is it for our after party episode. So I want to thank you for listening to the Dateable AF podcast, where we help you find your happy ending.
Remember, be bold, be kind, and for the love of queer dating, don't text your ex. Stay dateable
AF.